Level 1. The Ledger Analyst. The door clicks shut behind you, sealing you inside a windowless vault 40 feet below the basement of Langley. The air smells of ozone and industrial carpets. You sit at a gunmetal gray desk. On your dual monitor setup is a spreadsheet that does not exist on any official government network. Your title is Junior Data Analyst, but the internal routing code identifies you as a Tier 1 ledger reviewer. Your job is simple: reconcile the discrepancies in the special manifests. You notice a $14.2 million transfer from a dummy agricultural corporation in Delaware to a maritime shipping entity registered in Cyprus. The numbers do not match the public Pentagon acquisition ledgers. You find a $250,000 line item marked simply as Sustainment Logistics. You flag it and bring it to your branch chief. He doesn't look up from his screen. He tells you to sign off on the line item or pack your desk by noon. You stand there for 3 seconds. You walk back to your desk. You click approve. The rule at level 1 is absolute. Accuracy is secondary to compliance. Your stomach knots as you realize you just authorized the movement of untraceable currency. You tell yourself you are just a data processor. You go home to your apartment at 6:30 p.m., but you cannot tell your partner why your hands are shaking. The isolation begins in the silence. Level 2. The Logistics Courier. A black nylon duffel bag sits on the passenger seat of your rented Peugeot in a rain-slicked alley behind the Munich Central train station. It is 3:14 a.m. Inside the bag is $1.2 million in unsequenced, non-sequential €100 notes. Your official designation is case officer, but inside the black budget division, you are a logistics asset. You are the physical friction of the shadow economy. A man with a scarred jaw and teeth capped in gold slides into the passenger seat. You do not ask his name. He gives you an encrypted Kingston flash drive containing flight telemetry and radar blind spot windows over Eastern Europe. You hand him the bag. He weighs it by hand, nods once, and slips back into the rain. This cash will buy the silence of air traffic controllers. You do not ask what cargo the upcoming Gulfstream transport is carrying. You carry a sterile Sig Sauer P226 with the serial numbers chemically dissolved. You are not allowed to carry your real agency credentials. If you are caught by local authorities, you are an independent smuggler. The system will disavow you before your mugshot is taken. You drive away from the alley. The knot in your stomach is gone, replaced by a cold, steady thrum of survival. You realize you enjoy the weight of the bag. You are no longer just watching the money flow. You are pushing it through the veins of the world. Level 3. The Procurement Officer. You sign the deed to an empty commercial warehouse outside of Albuquerque using the social security number of a man who died in 1984. You are 32 years old and you no longer touch physical cash. You build the pipes that hide it. Your title is Procurement Specialist and you manage 3 distinct front companies: an aviation consulting firm, a deep-sea salvage outfit, and a dummy medical supply distributor. Your quarterly budget is $85 million, drawn entirely from the non-appropriated funds pool. You purchase subcontractor components for drone guidance systems that will never be delivered to the United States military. Instead, you route them through a logistics hub in Rotterdam, then to a secondary front company in Malta before they land in an unmarked hangar in Jordan. A mid-level accountant at your aviation firm threatens to contact the Internal Revenue Service about tax irregularities. You do not call legal counsel. You make a single phone call to an internal security terminal. 2 days later, the accountant is arrested on fabricated federal drug trafficking charges. You look at his deleted HR file on your monitor. You do not feel guilt. You tell yourself that his individual life is an acceptable casualty to preserve national security infrastructure. Your identity is fracturing. Your friends think you work in corporate logistics, but you have forgotten how to have a normal conversation. Level 4. The Operations Chief. You sit in the back of a darkened tactical operations center in Djibouti, watching a thermal satellite feed of a compound in the Yemeni desert. You are the competent operator. You are 38, and you control a regional operational budget of $310 million. None of this money comes from congressional appropriations. It is funded entirely by a percentage of seized illicit assets and off-the-books mineral concessions you secured 2 years ago. You have 42 paramilitary contractors on the ground. They wear no patches, carry no flags, and do not exist on any military roster. If they die, their bodies are buried in the desert, and their families receive a generic corporate insurance payout from a shell company in Panama. You watch the red thermal dots move across the screen. You give the command to execute. The screen flashes white as a loitering munition impacts the compound. 7 targets are neutralized. 1 is an unidentified female civilian. Your junior officer looks at you, his eyes wide, waiting for a reaction. You look back at him with an empty face. You tell him to log the civilian target as an active enemy combatant to ensure the post-mission audit remains clean. You are no longer uncomfortable with the deception. You are a master of its architecture. Your currency is no longer money. It is the absolute leverage you hold over every life in that room. Level 5. The Program Director. You present a single-page, highly redacted slide to a select 4-member congressional subcommittee inside a top-secret safe in the Capitol building. They believe they have total oversight. They are wrong. They only know the cover story, a $1.2 billion appropriation for next-generation satellite communications hardware code-named Onyx Eclipse. In reality, 70% of that budget is being siphoned directly into an unacknowledged cyber warfare unit operating out of a private technology compound in Reston, Virginia. You look a United States Senator directly in the eye and lie about the project's true capabilities. He smiles, shakes your hand, and signs the authorization line. The rules at Level 5 are clear. You protect the program from the government itself. You view elected officials as temporary guests who cannot be trusted with long-term survival strategies. You have no personal life left. Your marriage ended 3 years ago. Your ex-spouse received a court-ordered settlement paid out through an anonymous corporate annuity you arranged. You sleep 4 hours a night, waking up at 2 a.m. to check encrypted cables. You are a ghost moving through a world of oblivious citizens. Level 6. The Division Comptroller. You authorize a $4.6 billion transaction that reroutes funds from a major aerospace contractor's cost overruns into a Swiss bank account marked Deep Horizon. You sit at the high table of the Black Budget Division. You no longer look at individual operations or tactical strikes. You manipulate the economic friction of the global military-industrial complex. $1 billion vanishes from a public aircraft carrier maintenance budget and reappears as a deep underground research laboratory in Greenland. You know exactly where every illicit dollar is buried because you approved the purchase of the shovels. When a federal auditor from the Government Accountability Office gets too close to a financial discrepancy in your division, you do not panic. You call a liaison at the Pentagon, and the auditor's budget is slashed, their team dissolved, and the individual is reassigned to an isolated desk in the Aleutian Islands. Power at Level 6 is institutional inertia. You control the lifeblood of the shadow state. You view humanity with cold, clinical detachment. People are not individuals. They are resource allocations that must be balanced against geopolitical objectives. You clear a $500,000 retention bonus into your own offshore trust, but you realize you have nothing left to buy. Level 7, the Deputy Director of Special Projects. You sit in a dim wood-paneled restaurant in Georgetown sharing an expensive scotch with the official Director of Central Intelligence. He believes he runs the agency. You let him believe it. You inform him that a specific maritime interdiction project in the South China Sea does not exist. He nods and drops the subject. He knows that looking too closely into your division will end his career. The official chain of command stops below you. You answer only to a fluid, unacknowledged executive committee composed of intelligence veterans, defense executives, and central bankers. Your annual budget is larger than the gross domestic product of most European nations. It is self-sustaining, funded by international financial manipulation, sovereign debt leverage, and corporate tech monopolies. You decide which foreign regimes fall, which corporations are allowed to monopolize markets, and which technological breakthroughs are suppressed from the public eye. Yesterday, you authorized the permanent neutralization of a foreign software developer who refused to allow a backdoor into his global encryption platform. The news reports called it a tragic aviation accident. You live in a secured estate protected by private security details. You are an untouchable authority. Yet you are completely trapped. Every room you enter is swept for surveillance. Every meal you eat is tested for chemical agents. You have total control over the geopolitical chessboard, but you have zero control over your own isolation. Level 8. The Architect. There are no more budgets to approve. There are no more field operations to authorize. You sit in a minimalist, soundproof office located inside a subterranean bunker complex deep within the Blue Ridge Mountains. You are the Architect. You are the living institutional memory of a shadow apparatus that has run uninterrupted since the passing of the National Security Act of 1947. You have no official name, no valid passport, and no public record of existence. Your legal death was filed 20 years ago. You exist purely as a biometric signature required to authorize the highest tier presidential contingency funds during national crises. The power you possess is mythic, but it is a silent, crushing weight. You realized decades ago the ultimate secret of the system. Nobody is in control. The machine runs itself. It demands absolute secrecy, endless funding, and constant human sacrifice just to maintain its balance against global chaos. You are not the master of the machine. You are its oldest prisoner. You turn your eyes to the secondary security monitor on your desk. A young man in a tailored suit is walking down a windowless corridor 40 feet below the basement of Langley. He carries a leather briefcase, his face a mixture of nervous ambition and pride. He stops outside a heavy metal door, adjusts his tie, and prepares to enter his new office. He thinks he is about to protect his country. He thinks he understands the game. He doesn't, but he will.